What is up YouTube, and welcome back to the RiftGuides WildRift video. We have a video of the rank 1 Blitzcrank from the European server. An absolute menace. Lux 01 himself, the self-proclaimed and more or less absolute known Blitzcrank. This guy has been an absolute menace for most of the bottom laners. What will he do? He will always find the gap to hook you into death. Every single time. And not only this, he will also flash into your face on level 2 to make sure that the Samira, which he usually duels with, completely annihilates you. This is his game plan. So, what you have to do against this guy is, number 1, you don't walk up as they hit level 2 because he will flash onto your face immediately, and you really pay attention to the tiniest of the hitboxes from Blitzcrank. Because this guy, he will literally find the tiniest of cracks, the most minuscule openings, and he will hook you straight into death every single time. So now let's take a look at what he's doing. Okay, Blitzcrank, very infamous for getting control in the lane. The brush control is very important for that guy. You see, he's already posturing in a way that he's chilling, like he's looking for a hook, trying to get that enemy as they walk up to just, you see, do you see the tiniest of gaps he just found? And Morgana even skilled Black Shield level 1. What is going on? That is insane. And they got flash for free, and you know what this means? If the enemy AD carry walks too close, flash knockup instant kill. But they can't really do so now. Ooh, that is really aggressive. Is that going to work out? It is. Even though I must say, you got your 80 carry killed, come on man, just one more hit you could have potentially tanked. But then again, I think the Samira would have still died. But yeah, that is some borderline hyper-aggressive gameplay. Now, what I like to see is finding a spot in a brush and then just go for like a flash knockup. The issue is, against the Morgana, Blitzcrank as a champion becomes so much harder to pilot, as you see. The Black Shield just made it so difficult for him to do anything. But the Samira just goes in and pops the second ability, making it impossible for the Vayne to hit him in a timely manner, and therefore he lived long enough, just long enough, for the Samira to clean up. So now the enemy team has one big problem. The Samira is Omega fed. Look at him finding the angle. Samira is 5 as well. This could be a beautiful time. Style points fully charged up. The Samira. He's like, we don't talk about this. That was awkward. But that is some insane hooker action. Like, if you want to learn how to hit people with a hook, you better just take a look at that guy, because he will always find the angle. It doesn't matter if he has some oopsies as the game goes on. He will make your game unbearable once he's ahead, in lane at least. We're dying to a little puddle. But on the question is, it's often about just HP and overall awareness, what is going on the map. Because what can also be done is just calling over the jungle and like, hey brother, just come for dives, come for any kind of super aggressive play, because we have the tools to do so. Blitzcrank just goes in for the Xin Zhao and the Samira on the tower, and they just wipe them. He might die in the process, but there's not much they can do. That's a very optimistic play, because the enemy still has Black Shield, and that makes it so difficult for the Blitzcrank to be piloted in. He tried to just hope to outplay by hoping that the Morgana doesn't have the reaction times, but if the Morgana hits Black Shield, his entire play turns into absolute sadness, and you see he gets CC'd, he looks again for a play. But the thing is, if we go back in time for a moment, like when we see the Vladimir goes in for a play here, we see him walk away, and we see him now dissipate into fog of war, but he still has not, like, the 6 seconds have not passed yet. So he is very likely still here, and then it becomes so much more difficult for the Samira to turn. Samira might get one turn, yeah, so close. But again, this wasn't necessary because we already knew that Vladimir was down here, which means we can get an advantage. Like, our team automatically has the advantage because of free gold mid lane, etc. For the Orianna, and allowing the Xin Zhao maybe also to force a play up there. However, as it seems, the oh, Oriana, okay. Oriana is getting some gold back. But it's really important about just understanding what can be done and what advantage can be taken. The next thing is, you could argue here is this is going to be something very specific. For example, Blitzcrank could choose to not show here. Let the incoming Samira here. Let me whip out the epic pen. My cat is sleeping on me, so it's a little bit difficult, but we're just gonna do this. Okay, cool. So Samira is coming from here. So Blitzcrank can choose to chill here, Samira clears these minions, and maybe Blitzcrank can just approach this brush here. If the enemy has like one moment of negligence, the Blitzcrank can hook out of a brush, and then it's like borderline impossible for the Morgana to react with Spell Shield, and then they have exactly what they want. The thing is, you rarely want to be honest as a Blitzcrank unless you have the tools to close the gap between you and the enemy. If you're playing honest means you show yourself, then there needs to be a reason for it. Like, for example, the enemy not having counterplay. Okay, Morgana now using Spell Shield super early. Lilia is here, we got the global announcement from the dragon. So now his team is already winning on the other side. Nice try, he expected them to maybe be here. And now, what I believe is a pretty good play, we just placed a pink ward here. Why aren't we waiting up here and using the Samira as bait? As soon as we get close enough with the power of this, and hopefully avoiding Morgana Q, we can get into range to proc her spell sheet with ult, and then maybe, depending on what is happening, hit them with our other spells. Especially with like hacks, with the upcoming Hex Flash. I mean, we used it earlier, but just in general, just makes it easier to punish them. Because again, we are playing honest. We are showing ourselves to the enemy, giving them room to survive. Because we already established ourselves like a spot where we have control. And again, this was a nice attempt because there was a Q thrown there, and it's just that he doesn't really lose anything from trying to hitting that hook. Gets close, gets condemned. Can't really do anything about this. Really annoying. That was a really smart play, and you can argue that the fault lies on Morgana, because Morgana should not press Black Shield before the hook is actually starting, because there could be exactly this happening. And since the Blitzcrank player was closer to one target, the target assumed that this would be the target he wants to hook, but he hooked the target further away. So it's basically a mind game. The next thing is, if you look at the general vision on the map, there's nothing really there. So what can be done in general? We have the options, since we are apparently the ones that are a bit weaker on the team right now, considering that our jungle invested so many resources into the other side of the map, that we can leave this sphere here down here, and go for the other side of the map, and make plays around the already stronger side. Well, not stronger side, but where we have like some kind of setup if the Xin Zhao refuses to come, because we have to accommodate for that. In theory, the Xin Zhao should be here, again, beautiful look, the Xin Zhao should be the one that is understanding, hey, the Samira is fed, come down here, make a play over and over again, Lilia can't do anything about this, Blitzcrank will be the one tanking up, and we'll have more than enough damage to instantly kill every one of them. Yeah, good luck playing AD carry into that kind of stuff, that is a little bit tough. But yeah, the alternative would be that we actually go around the map and force things around these people. Because even if we are fed, if the enemy sends constantly people into our faces, we will not be able to do anything. On paper, they should be with us, but we can't really control them, so if you want to be like min-max and do the best thing you can in order to maximize your win chances, then this would be probably the best option you have. And again, we are playing very honest here. Now is the first kind of not honest play by looking for a cheeky little hook like this. But so far on the map, we have no control at all. And Blitzcrank is more of a champion, from my perspective, that really loves being ahead, forcing plays, or being very dishonest in a way where we have control over enemy pathways, vision control, to then just immediately one-shot somebody if we lock them down for like a brief moment. So the thing is, even in this game, it's still very much winnable, because we have the Samira champion. The Samira champion can be like similar to a Darius or a Katarina, where just one thing could be enough to make the difference. The bad part is, right now, the enemy will get a soul in a few minutes. But, luckily, it's only a mountain soul. Now we see dishonest gameplay, which is very nice, by just waiting in brushes. Being a flank, looking for like this one pick. Now we've got the Vladimir killed, but it will not be enough for us to do Nashor. We have to get more dishonest kills, more dishonest like traps or anything, to then have a chance. Ideally, the Samira gets put into a situation where she's allowed to fully stack her style passive and then go into the backline. If that isn't the case, it's borderline impossible for the Samira to find proper access. So, until she is fully stacked, she needs to rely on the other people on the team to create the space for that one. Now, this can become a very big problem, what we're seeing right now. Because if Lilia is here fast enough, Blitzcrank really has to be... Blitzcrank, I don't know if you want to hook her in even. Because the risk of that one, if you go back, let's see if there was a risk. Because if you see right now, let's see when we start throwing the hook. Okay, it wasn't in range of actually just randomly dying unless people just smite out of like being scared. But it's fine to hook right here. If the Baron was a little bit lower, I would never say to hook because it might be too low and then you might get it stolen. But here it's completely fine. But again, we have some little oopsies of spacing and then we just die to the Liandry, Riftmaker, whatever, burn combo. And we get depressed. Okay, now we have a shift in identity. It's no longer the hooker, it's the T-Hex gamer. Which, funnily enough, in this game, if the T-Hex wouldn't be the one buffing your stuff, it would probably be even better for him not to be in the T-Hex. Because they lose so much potential of, like, catching somebody. It's the fruit. Little refreshment, good sir. Yeah, TX now dies. Blitzcrank is free again. Gets the hook onto the Vladimir. Instantly gets one-shot by the Samira. Quick combo. Blitzcrank tanks up the damage for a little bit on top, just to make sure that the Samira doesn't take any more damage. It's completely unnecessary. You have the third dragon spawning in 8 seconds. Right now they have the Nexus shield, so we should never ever try to go for more. And now it's about being dishonest again. So, as of this moment, since it is a soul for the enemy team, you're given a few options. Number 1, you start doing the dragon and turn on Lilia. Number 2, you trap for Lilia. These are the options. And many times, because it's the soul for the enemy, you will see that Lilia is going to come here. But you want to just wait for them and kill them if you know that they're gonna come. So right now you see Maokai going in, he goes onto the backline, Samira is not in a position to do anything about this, playing slow, nice hook here, now the Samira gets to play the game, gets to hunt them down, has waited long enough to make the play, pops the second ability, flashes in to get the knock up for the Samira gap close again, and Samira can run them all down if she isn't locked down and killed. But fortunately, Samira picked up a Maul this game, which saved her in this entire fight here. If she doesn't have Maul, she takes so much more damage, so it was a key pickup for exactly that one. Pushes in the top wave because it's the only available wave right now. Next wave coming in mid lane. They have more than enough time to end this game. Since our ults the wave, The super minion is having a fun time here, and they end the game. Not too bad, not too bad. Let's see if he showcases something after the game, or if there is nothing. Let's see. But fortunately, we have 2 games. I mean, the skin is so amazing, no? That is an amazing skin. Into the second game. Here we have Blitz, Samira, as per usual, into Janna, Jhin. Janna, Jhin with a Shen. I really hope somebody this game is going to pick up some form of anti-shielding. I remember this Ringer. You might see the name, but yeah, wasn't so much of a god. Let's put it that way. Okay. Let's see what we have here. Jhin and Janna need to be really careful. They have no ways of brush control. The Blitzcrank will just be able to walk in here. Number one, like, if you want to be, like, fully honest and fully, like, okay, this ward should not be placed here unless there's a reason to place it by seeing that there has been a ward placed. Because right now, you will just walk here and sit here because the Janna tornado will usually come from here to here. And then you're just like, oh cool, I just get hit by a Janna tornado. And then you just idle around in this brush. If you want to really be aggressive and flip for the early fight because you're automatically winning due to your champions, you would run straight up there anyway. So it wouldn't surprise me if you just walked up here and just blind hooked. Because it's such a typical thing to do. But yeah, there should be a Janna tornado coming. Janna not using tornado here, so pretty interesting. We see the Jhin. And again, it's such a typical thing. You see he's aiming for the gap here. So we have these like death zones. And if you're the enemy champion, you have to be like, okay, how can I avoid getting blitz hooked? If the trajectory is a straight line, then these minions here are your absolute savior. Whereas the moment you leave the safety of these minions, you put yourself into a dangerous spot of being hooked and killed. So minions are invisible walls which are super important to utilize against any type of hook champion. And you see, they're just patient because they can be. Now Janna finally uses the tornado, which she should have used earlier, to get confirmation that the blitz is actually there, because Janna tornado is just super high range and super fast cast and there's no real risk to it. And it just makes it easier to get confirmation and therefore help your teammates, because then, well, you know somebody is there, which is most likely going to be the blitz, and then your Blitzcrank can't be anywhere in the jungle doing some cheesy stuff. Next thing is, again, Blitzcrank, unless there is a reason to, doesn't want to be honest. What can happen here right now is, so let me put this into perspective, the Blitzcrank is looking for any of these last hits which will net him and his teammate level 2, then he will immediately flash towards an enemy that gets too close. For example, this minion here is going to be try and last hit by the Jhin. This will be then used by both of them to instantly all in the Jhin, and if the Jhin is too close, he will get immediately exhausted and ran down because the distance from here to the tower might be too large. So let's see what happens, because that's like such a typical thing if he gets too close. You see? Exactly what I say just happened, instant kill. And it's the same thing every single time. It's literally the same thing that happens every time. So now, if you take a look at this wave is pushing into this direction. So what can be done? Number one, this brief moment after the kill, if the Samira still has a ward, can be utilized to walk up slightly here and place a ward here, because then you are able to utilize this side here as well as this side for pressure. You obviously don't want to stand like between minions, because if you start hitting them, all of them will turn onto you and absolutely demolish you. But then this brush here, generally speaking, is the enemy has no control over it, because you already killed the Jhin and the wave is pushing, so they have to overextend to get into XP range, which is probably around here. But they can't do so if Mr. Blitz is either in this brush being dishonest, or up here because they can't simply pass. It's just a very thing that you just have to keep in mind. Because now the minions will turn onto him, because he didn't pay attention to the HP of his own minions. He will lose some HP. Will not be too much, but it is okay. But now again, there should be some dishonesty in his gameplay, making it more difficult for the enemy to achieve anything. And again, having some control in the river would also be pretty cool, because it would give them time. Okay, Lee Sin has shown top, so now there can be made another play on bot lane, which is completely possible. X-Flash happening, a jump happening again, all-in happening, Jhin jumping. It's all fine. This is all completely scripted due to Lee Sin showing on the other side of the map. This wave will not walk into the tower. Okay, beautiful. Rengar on the bottom side of the map here. No flash onto Jhin. Now, Flash Jhin should be pinged. Rengar comes after ult. This guy is dead. Then we crashed his wave. After we crash this wave, we can debate taking one plate or two, depending on how long it takes. But then we want to go base immediately, get our items, and accelerate our gameplay. Because the Samira will be fat as hell, and the moment that happens, there's going to be one-shots everywhere. Okay, Rengar will hit level 5. Rengar should be looking on the bottom side of the map to kill the bot laners, because the Jhin can't defend himself due to having no flash. But the Rengar appears to be not aware, so that is that. So yeah, Rengar could be the one looking here for this play. As I said, no counterplay because he just jumps and roots and is GG. You know why. Nice block by the Blitzcrank onto the minion, denying him access to the gold. However, he can simply do the same thing from here and just looking at the minion's HP and then just walk back. Being very dishonest, not showcasing, like, unless he has to block the way physically, that is. Not showing himself, giving the enemy maybe a false sense of security. Rengar now finally realizes that he might be able to go onto an enemy champion after 15 hours and business days, as well as 15 business meetings. And now this push, like, this has to be crashed into the tower, because now we want to look for a reset window. We don't want to continue this for too long. The reason is we are losing value in gold, etc. Like, at some point, we want to turn this into a crash, unless we can guarantee that it stays this way, which is not going to be the case. Because if you look at the minions, we have a relatively equal minion wave on this side here, which means that we'll automatically push into this direction very soon. Because the wave only stays neutral if it's roughly in the middle, but these minions coming from here will support the blue minions earlier, which leads into a slow push here, and then we will be delayed because we have to deal with another incoming wave. Since we didn't clear this instantly, we have to clear with the next incoming wave here again, exposing ourselves to a potential Lee Sin gank, because the Lee Sin was spotted earlier here, so the next assumption is he might be here next time, and like in the next 30 seconds he is around this area. And us forcing ourselves to stay here, and we even getting confirmation that blue wave is available, could potentially be a risk that we do not need to take. Now this is a slow push into the enemy team, which serves no specific purpose unless we can dive. Okay, very important what happens now. Take a good look where Lee Sin is going. Lee Sin is going up there. We assume that we assume that Shen used ult, not Lee Sin is going there. That is what we can assume. So Janna will be on her way back, but with these minions here, if Lee Sin happens to be there, okay, Lee Sin isn't here, okay. Jhin is probably dead right now. He doesn't have exhaust, we need to crash this wave then, and then go for a kill. That would be the proper usage of this wave. But this wave then, it needs to follow this purpose of creating the dive. It's not a reset wave, it's a kill wave. Okay. Gets the hook, start tanking, gets the one shot, everything is fine. Not the Janna, we don't go for more, this is grief. We already got the kill, and we got stuff for free. Because look, we go in, we get the kill, okay, we have aggro, we now walk out. We haven't seen Janna use anything, so we walk out, there's still a wave under the tower, and then we can play with our physical body to bait the enemy spell. Because all it takes is Blitz waiting for another E, and walking melee range to the Janna. And if you walk melee range to the Janna, she will feel forced to do something, and therefore we gain an advantage. But now we put ourselves into a spot for zero reason. We already got the net positive of the play, could have waited to just bait her cooldowns by simply walking close without zero chance of actually dying because we simply take auto attack damage from the Janna while going full plates. So we would not die, we would not give the Janna golden EXP, we would maybe even dissuade her from staying or force some cooldowns and just gain advantage over advantage. It is a big wave coming, objective spawning in 14 seconds. Nice flash hook, that is just disgusting how that one hits. Can't really continue the play since Samira had aggro. We will not die to this fourth shot. Yeah, even if we get hit, we don't die. Another hook connects, Samira barely in range to just go in again. Takes so much damage. This should actually solidify that the enemy bot lane can't really participate in the dragon fight, because they already use all of their long range tools on top as well. Looking for the angle. Threading in the needle, good sir. I guess the Janna knows. Could have placed a control ward there to just make sure that the option is listen, mod check. Okay, Samira is super fed. Enemy no exhaust again. If the Jhin doesn't prepare traps in front of the tower constantly to make sure that the wave dies, he will just beat off again. Like, he's dead. Like, he can't stay here. Like, he needs to know this. Nice hook, gets all in, gets Shen ulted. They can even choose to let the Shen complete the ult if they believe that there's no more backup, and then they have another kill for free while the Fiora gets the sideways for free. Again, after these kind of plays here, it would be really cool to get deep vision into the enemy jungle, because it just allows you to go for even more aggressive plays. Just these little things that just come together where you just create yourself room for upcoming plays, rather than just flipping the coin and just going in hoping it works. We see the Janna, she's on the other side of the map, she's on the middle lane right now. So in this scenario, what can be done? We can take control in the enemy jungle, we can transition our lead into the jungle and make proactive plays anywhere where we want to, and making sure to have vision allows us to completely overextend on one side, because the enemy has to respond. And if you look at how strong we are right now, it becomes very much apparent that the enemy needs to invest a lot of resources to deal with us. Like right now, the Lee Sin, if he's even fed enough, needs to jump onto the Samira and one-shot the Samira. If that doesn't happen, the Samira will turn around on the Blitzcrank engage, or count or turn, and immediately kill them, because she's so fed. But walking mid lane, generally, unless we can force, which is the Blitzcrank currently doing, against wave clear champions, it's nearly impossible. In this case, it's easier, but you just have to keep in mind, like, if you are fed and accelerated, you want to obviously extend your lead, and you want to do so in the most reliable fashion, and then you have to select the lane where you want to go, where you can do so. Because you don't have to walk in mid lane to take down tier 1, you can spread enemies' resources thin, forcing them to back off from that tier 1, because you have so much jungle pressure. Aimbot. Got a point. Hackslash and Probelt are available, so the relative range of engage is pretty high. W1, W2, Probelt hook, that was close. You know, I would like Blitzcrank so much more if his ultimate actually removed shields, like it does on PC. Because it just feels so bad in comparison, not being able to remove shields. Okay, the dishonest gameplay finally started to happen. They got the control of the enemy jungle and looked for picks. So now the question is, can they translate this lead constantly, or are they going to have some few oopsies left and right? Because it's super important to not give away shutdowns to hyperscaling champions, for example, such as the Vladimir, because they have a certain protect comp with the Shen, that if the Vladimir is being ulted by the Shen, it becomes very troublesome in like 5 to 6 minutes. Samira in a whole lot of trouble. 900 gold to the Jhin also doesn't make it too much better, because the Jhin is also scaling pretty heavily into later stages of the game. Considering the draft, it's probably not too much of an issue. But yeah, still, it's definitely something you don't want to do. So the question is, why were we even there in the first place when we don't even have to? What other things can be done in the meantime that don't expose ourselves to such risk? Because obviously, when you do something in the game, you want to have certain, you want to get something in return. And if there's like simply no reason because the gold you gain there is too minuscule, because ask yourself, could you have gotten all of this? Could you have gotten all the kills on your own? If so, what do you even gain for that? How high is the risk? You have a 900 gold shutdown. If you die, then you might give the enemy hyper carry gold. Is it really worth it, or can you just fight around a place that is contested? For example, you know that WildRift people are crazy about dragons that can be used as a neutral point of aggression. Both parties are very interested in playing for that one, and therefore you might catch them there because they truly like to go for that, even if they can't. And then it's like you have to accept, sometimes you have to accept the state of doing nothing, because right now, what is the point? Why? You see, what is the point of this play? Baron spawns in 1 minute. Even if we get all of them killed, the only thing we gain is gold. But if we fail, the enemy gains gold back, which reduces the chance of us getting Nashor. But we already secure Nashor safely anyway because of how strong we are. So this fight here, it serves no purpose. If we happen to win it, it's pretty cool, yes, but the enemy could have just chosen to not go further. So even if the result, for example, is a positive thing for you, it didn't have to end like this, because the enemy could have simply chosen not to do something. Not to overchase, not to run into them, not to do these things, not to spread themselves thin. Because now we are still in the same scenario. We are ahead as we were before. We still have the free Nashor. The enemy can't contest us at Nashor. Nothing really changed. We just exchanged gold with a super high risk, which basically only has downsides for us if it goes wrong at any point. So now with Lee Sin dead, there should be an immediate call for Nashor. This kill, like the time spent here, doesn't matter too much because, well, Rengar should be on the way to Baron, but he isn't, so we can't really do something about this one. But again, once you have the kills on, for example, Lee Sin and Jhin, you automatically secure your access to Nashor as well as guaranteeing Nashor to be yours. So another kill does not matter in the context of getting Nashor, because that is the next goal you want to achieve. So here you see Kassadin is dealing with the wave because he knows this Baron is secure. There's plenty enough vision. He can't get stolen, so he wants to be efficient. Tries to get the wave as well. Now the Blitzcrank should be hovering the Kassadin just to make sure that he is safe and sound, so there's nothing happening to him. And continue dishonest gameplay. Goes in, looks for a play here. Flash doesn't connect. And now he can just be, exactly, place the pink ward there, and be dishonest. Hide, and let the enemy walk up believing you're not there, to then punish them upon taking minions or something somewhere. You see, his teammates are being dishonest right now, hiding, and he's like the bait. However, it's not really a powerful bait if you see a Blitzcrank alone there, because, well, the assumption is somebody is there if the Blitzcrank is alone. Gets the hook, gets an instant kill. Kassadin jumps onto them also immediately. Nades bouncing left and right. TX is taking down middle. They have to defend multiple lanes at the same time. They truly can't do this. Therefore, it's getting a little bit troublesome for them, as you see, so. kicked into the face, but not much happens after. The TX is blasting to the tower up there. Oh, nice hook onto the Jonathan. And yeah, we see 3 kills left and right. Damn, he might die. Yeah, the Vladimir damage. And Lee Sin, you see, pushing the other side of the map doesn't really matter because he just gave up on the game anyway. Damn, poor guy. And yeah, that is it. Thank you all for watching. If you want to check him out, I will link his Twitch in the description below. And we'll see each other for more content very soon. So thank you all and take care.